I've heard that Google is making a lot of inroads into this idea of exactly that, making sure that people don't just stuff a whole lot of words into a website that aren't relevant or necessarily to do with the products simply because they'll get good Google rankings. What Google wants to do is they want to find relevant sites that are based on people that have authority in their field so that they're delivering a superior experience to the user, the person that's searching for the information. I want to talk a bit about Panda and a bit about Penguin. These are, I don't know if we were going to talk about these today, but I keep hearing about this Google Penguin. What does this mean, and where is that going, and why did they do that?
Well, this is an extension of an ongoing process with Google and its proprietary algorithm. Google is now calling it Penguin. And it's taking and drilling deeper into search to prevent manipulation by websites that are trying to mislead in search. For instance, spamming, like when we're not having agreement between content and keywords, and driving people to a page that is selling one thing but was advertising another. Things like this, when we talk about manipulation or black hat tactics, Penguin is now what Google is using as its updated release of its algorithm to seek out, find, and destroy those kinds of tactics that are manipulative.
Is it very common? Is it very common
for
SEO to be very manipulative and false? And
absolutely. Absolutely. No, there are people who would never attempt such a thing. But there are people incredibly savvy that see a monetary value, because we really are talking about money. Traffic can equal money, it can equal sales. Somebody could manipulate by using SEO to create more authority. And this is critical because you get placed in SERP, which is your search engine rank page. It's what SERP stands for, search engine rank page. So you know when you go searching for something and the first page that comes up, the top 3 positions on that page are actually paid ads, and then the top first position is a organic, non-paid place of somebody's website or article or something. That's place 1. That's the premium position. That is the premium position. That means people are going to see you, and more likely, statistically, the first 5 positions people click on more than any other on that page.
Maybe it shows a little bit of naivety on my part, because I would never think of doing that. It just occurred to me how common is it. I'm sure it is common. But you know, another thing I've been hearing a lot about, and I really want to pick up on this, that, you know, one of the things that we're all being recommended to do is have good quality links, and I think there's this phrase that you use, link juice.
Yeah.
So let's explore that idea that let's not manipulate our site. Let's do it right. Let's do the right things that Google wants us to do so that we can be found organically, naturally, and in a positive direction. And one of the ways to do that is a phrase called link juice. So how do you create good links, positive links, a positive experience that Google can find you organically and naturally?
This other factor that influences the search engine or coverage is this authority. And how does one gain authority? In other words, out there on the wild and lawless World Wide Web, anybody can post and claim anything about themselves, right? So search engines want to know if your website is credible, and if it is, whether they would show it to their users. And one way that search engines determine the authority of a web page or a domain is by evaluating what other websites think of that website. And this can be measured through those links from other websites pointing to that website. So you can think,
if I recommend you and you recommend me,
we'd have links to each other's websites mutually. We would be showing reciprocity.
The more you have there that's natural and, of course, based on honesty. I recommend you because you're awesome. You recommend me because I'm an Aussie.
Right. Yeah.
I'm pretty good at what I do. And Google says, well, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. I want to send someone to something about Twitter. He's been recommended for Twitter for a few times by a few people. I trust that. judgment by other people.
You can think of a link as a vote, or a web page linking to your website as a vote of trust. And the search engines pick up on this. That helps build you up in the, in the SERP or the search engine rank page. But it's important to realize this isn't a simple game of popularity contest where you just try and accumulate the most votes on the internet. And in fact, link juice as a tactic, linking to as many websites that are unrelated, is an abuse and a black hat tactic. And this black hat. And it is a scheme to try and falsely create credibility around a site in order to increase its page rank and authority. Back to what I said earlier.
Can we just pick up on this idea of black hat? People may not have heard this phrase, and I really want to play it out because Google's getting very clever now. We're all getting increasingly savvy to the dodgy, manipulative tactics. What we want as consumers is the organic experience. If I type in web designers Texas, I want to come up with someone who knows what they're doing and lives in Texas. If I've got a dog and I want to go to a veterinarian in Texas, Austin maybe, then I want to know that I'm going to get that result. I want to be taken to another page simply because by clicking on it they get 2 cents. That's no use to me. We're getting very clever, and this is why this key phrase black hat keeps popping up. It's manipulative, dodgy, underhanded tactics.
It's a scheme. It's anything that is trying as a scheme to falsely create or manipulate for a result your rank, the way you come up in search. And like I said, back to linking, when people buy, sell, and exchange links on a massive scale, they're doing so to manipulate their authority in search engines. These types of links, as well as any others that aren't earned by the quality of content on the site, are considered a black hat tactic. And an example of a bad link for our listeners and viewers out there would be a link, say, coming from a very young site, about a month old, or a link that has nothing to do with you and your industry, completely unrelated. A link from a website that has no complimentary content related to your site. These would all be red flags. On the flip side, a great link would be from a website with tremendous authority, therefore is more effective than the others at determining your site's authority. You might want to think of the whole system as a weighted democracy where some votes are worth more than others. So a really credible site linking to yours has more weight than a mediocre site and certainly a bad link.